I'm sitting on the corner of the Moss family lot. It's really two lots put together, and it was started by Rufus Lafayette Moss. And the first grave immediately behind me is that of his first wife, who died on their honeymoon to Niagara Falls. It is really something to think about the bride being in the state of health that she might die on her honeymoon. I think she died of consumption, which so many people had in the 19th century. She died in 1848. Right next to her is his grave, which has a Confederate iron cross at the head of it. That iron cross was designed towards the end of the 19th century to mark the graves of Confederate veterans. There once were many, many more of those crosses in Oconee Hill Cemetery, but they have been the target of people who were souvenir takers, and they just like to collect these iron crosses. So unless they are well anchored in concrete, they are apt to walk out of the cemetery. And then his second wife, the mother of all of his children, is buried on the other side of him. And then subsequent generations of the family are buried all the way back. Dr. William Lorenzo Moss is right back in the second row, and Dr. William Lorenzo Moss has the distinction of having developed a method of typing blood so that it would be safe to give blood transfusions. And it is interesting that Dr. Moss was delivered as a baby by his kinsman, Dr. Crawford W. Long, who is buried just a short distance away in the cemetery. Their mothers were relatives. The newest grave that's in the cemetery that has a funeral home marker is the daughter of Dr. Moss, Marguerite Moss Heary, who died earlier this year. So now, until I would say the middle of the 20th century, this lot looked much different than we see it today. It had whatever style tombstone was in use at the time the decedent died. And Dr. Moss thought that the lot would be more appealing if it was more homogeneous. So he ordered all new markers for the lot. And his daughter, Marguerite, told me that he put more information on the new stones than had been on the old stones. And when these new stones came, and they don't show up very well from a distance, but they are rounded topped, and he took the old stones and stored them in the schoolhouse that the Mosses had had at their home over on Hill Street. Then later, when they moved from there, it was moved out to his home on the Jefferson Road, Warunga, where those monuments remain today. So there are two sets of monuments for the people buried here. But he wanted a more serene, restful lot, and he put in that bench at the back of the lot. So this is his design for a family lot.